Welcome back to my continuing series of sample word problems to explain to kids or to explain to parents and kids what is math for. And so today I have, as promised, an example of an actual teen who came to me years ago. This is my own son years ago when he was, I think, 12 years old, maybe 13 at the time. And he comes down the stairs and says, "Dad, I have a question. I know it's math. Please don't give me a lecture." Don't know why he said that. And will you please just answer my question? And so he presented the following word problem, which all kids hate. They claim they hate. What's the point of math? And here is the point. My name is Bernie Dove. I am passionate about helping dozens of kids succeed in math, including those, especially in some cases, those who think that they hate math and will never be a math person. I specialize in taking dozens of kids from struggling in math to succeeding at the highest level. And my son was no exception. He went from zero in math to getting the highest mark in algebra class when he was ready and decided that he needed to do it. So this video, to find out more about working with me, click the link below and you'll be able to join my free True Math Mastery community. From there, you'll be able to get in touch directly with me. You'll be able to get the resources and curriculum that I use and be able to get in touch with me to get an assessment, a free assessment of your own child's situation and journey in success. And I'm selling a player on my Madden game. The Madden game is an NFL, it's a sports game. It's on Xbox, NFL, it's football. And I'm selling a player because I want to buy a different player. Now, the game charges a 10% commission. And I remember saying, like, I don't know why they charge a 10% commission. It's not real money, right? But these games are meant to be realistic. So the game charges a 10% commission on the sale, so that if I sell a player for 100K, he only gets 90K. So that's 10%. So now his question is, drum roll, I remember the numbers exactly. So basically, I want to buy, the new player I want to buy is $109,000. So I need to get $109,000 after the fee. So the question is, drum roll, from the kid who hated math and doesn't like word problems, that says, what is the lowest price that I can sell my player such that after the 10% fee, I still get $109,000. You gotta love this. Okay, so the process, what I'm going to show now is the process of solving this problem using algebra. Without algebra, you can use guess and check, and trust me, you'll be here for a long time. Here's how to solve it. So all of algebra. What algebra means is taking symbols, and usually we use one-letter symbols. X has been used for generations, but X has become so traumatic to so many students that we often give problems today in school without the word X, without the letter X, because the question being asked is what is the lowest price that I can sell my player such that after the 10% commission, the fee is still get is $109,000. So the question being asked, the unknown, the question being asked is what is that sales price? So in math, all we're doing is we're lazy. We don't want to write this long description. What is the sales price that I must sell it at? I say let X equal that sales price. I'm going to represent that sales price with the letter X. Let X, I can pick any letter I want, by the way. I can pick P, I can pick S, and X has been used traditionally. So, but I'm going to use X because I want to use X. I like X. So let X equal the sales price. And now the fee is 10%. Now the fee, for this example, I'll take a hard-coded 10%, a constant 10%. In the next video, I'll describe how to solve this problem generically for any percentage. Let's say it's 5%, let's say it's 6%, let's say 7.5%, regardless of what the percentage is. But for this problem, we have only one variable, and that is X, the sales price. We know that the fee is 10%, and so therefore, and we know that we want to end up with $109,000 after the fee. In algebra, that is, drum roll, in algebra, we can represent that entire problem. We translate that entire problem of words to this, and that is X, the unknown, the price that we're going to sell this at, which we don't know yet, minus 10% of X. Well, why is it 10% of X? 10% of X is basically x divided by 10 is 10%. Therefore, this expression simply means x, the sales price, minus x divided by 10. That's how we say the sales price minus 10%. That's what it means. And because we want that number to be, we want that number to be $109,000. Well, now we're saying, now suddenly, okay, so yes, the entire word problem can be described in algebra with this equation, x minus x over 10 equals $109,000. And now we say, find x. Now this is why we're asking you to find x, because you want to know what x is. That's the question. You want to know what is the price that I have to sell this player at, such that after I take the 10%, I end up with $109,000. And that means find x. So that's why we're finding x. Now, how do we find x? This looks scary. How do we do this? Now that we've translated the problem to math, now we have to take this problem, this seemingly complex problem, which has a fraction in it, which means the kids will freak out. How do we take that problem? So we're starting with this simple but ugly. And the first thing is, I say when we solve problems like this, is I say we're not afraid of fractions, but we do want to get rid of them, because they make things messy. They make things more complicated than they need to be. The first step is let's get rid of the fraction. Now, how do you get rid of the fraction? Well, because you have an equation, the way you get x over 10 to be simply x, you multiply it by 10. If you simply multiply the fraction by the denominator, you get rid of the fraction. But you can only do that when you have an equation, and you can only do that if you do the same thing to both sides. Again, this is not meant to be the algebra lecture that is inside the course, which you can click on the link on the video to join my community and learn the algebra and learn the underlying foundations. But for now, I'm going to just say what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 10, and you have to multiply the whole thing by 10, and that's another mistake that students make. We want to multiply. So 10 times x is 10x, 10 times x. 10 times x over 10, and this is, again, part of the magic of math and algebra, is x. And I've spent a lot of time explaining why that is, okay? In school, they didn't explain it. They just tell kids to do it, and that's part of the problem. But when you multiply both sides by x, you get 10x minus x, because 10 times x is 10x. 10 times x over 10 is x. So 10x minus x equal, and to multiply 109,000 by 10, all you do is add a 0. So therefore, this equation, the beauty of algebra, and all of algebra, is about converting first the words to this equation, and then converting this equation to this equation here. These two equations are equivalent. That's what it means. They mean the same thing. But all of math is about transforming one form of saying an equation to another form. Why do we do that? Because in its original form in the words, we couldn't figure out how to solve it. Even in this form of the algebra, don't know how to solve it directly. What is that? So that we go through a series of steps to transform this equation that we cannot solve directly to an equation that we can. So we multiply by 10. That gives us 10x minus x equal $1,109,000. Then we do another algebraic process, which, again, your kids are tortured with in school. And because they're tortured with it out of context, they remember it. Even the good students will know how to do it, but they don't know what it means. In this case, 10x minus x, if you have 10 of something, let's say I have 10 apples, and I subtract from that one apple, what I have is 9 apples. It's simply 10 minus 1. But with algebra, it looks messy. That's what it means, combined like terms. So now I have yet a third expression that started with this expression. We multiplied both sides by 10 to get this expression. Then we combine like terms, which simply means that 10x minus x means 9x, and therefore 9x equal $1,109,000. We're not done yet, but we're almost there. We have this expression. And now we still have to solve for x. We know that 9 apples, let's make believe it's apples. 9 apples will cost $1,109,000. Okay. So, but what does 1 apple cost? Find x. Once again, we got to find x. And all you got to do to find x in this case, okay, is divide both sides of the equation by 9. is the 1 times that thing is dividing. You have to divide that 9x by 9, and that'll give you x. And voila, then what you want is x. 9x divided by x is x. Okay. And 1,109,000 divided by 9, that you can do it in a calculator, but why do that? You have so much fun to do it by hand. But again, if you're in a hurry, do it in a calculator or in a spreadsheet. But $1,109,000 divided by 9 is voila, this is the answer, x. The price that we need to sell this player at is $121,000, $111.11. And it keeps going on. It goes .111. So this is not exact. Wow, look at this. If we sell the player for $121,111.11 after taking off 10%, 10% of 120 is simply $12,111.11. And if you then do that and subtract 12,011 from the one, you end up with voila, you end up with $109,000, which is what we wanted in the first place. That's what you